Hello, writers. It's about time for session 5, all about text features. Now, as you already know, text features are a very important part of information writing and support the information that you have already written in your draft. So today is going to be a fun session where you get to look at your information already in your draft and figure out what text features best support that information. There is going to be some creativity involved, and you will most likely be using all of the research that you used during the research process in Mrs. Koppelman's history class. So be sure to have those notes handy and ready to go. Good luck! That help to draw readers' attention to important information. So writers use text features purposely. They don't just pick a map or a timeline from their research and stick it in their draft. They really think about important information and ideas that they are trying to communicate already in their draft. They use text features to confirm what they're saying. So they really shouldn't be distracting, and they shouldn't be telling you a different piece of information than what you already have written. So today what you're going to do is go ahead and go back and revisit your draft from last week. What information are you really talking about in your draft? What text features would most support that information? So in this space, in your notes will be blank. I have gone ahead and included text features that will fit my subtopic to kind of show you a little bit of what I'm looking for you to do during this part. This is a brainstorming session. You're kind of trying out different text features to see what you think will support your draft the most. Here I have a map of Lexington and Concord, and it shows the route that the British took, but also where Lexington and Concord are located. I happen to talk about both of those places, so I thought a map would be beneficial. I have a photo here. Well, it's an illustration, and it shows or it depicts a scene from what possibly occurred during those battles. I have a timeline here of the entirety of the American Revolution, timeline of important events. And then I have an infographic here of kind of comparing British and American colonies in 1776. So as I look at these four kind of brainstorming of text features, I'm kind of leaning towards that I want to go with the photo and the map, because the timeline doesn't really go with my subtopic. The timeline really talks about the entire American Revolution, and the chart talks about comparing the British and the American colonies, where I don't really talk about that in my draft. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to look throughout your research. What text features did you think were important to note in your research? And I want you to copy and paste them into this section of your page. And then think about how they support your draft. Do they add to your draft? Or is it confusing to your readers? Okay, as you scroll down, I have given you kind of an example of all the different type of text features that we have learned throughout this year. I have replaced some of these text features with text features that kind of go with my subtopic, but you can find ones from your research that go with your subtopic. Okay, and finally, on the last page, Once you have decided what text features to use, as always, it's important to cite your sources. So let's say that you have information from a book. You want to use a text feature that you got from a book. As you know, you must give credit to your source by pulling out those key pieces of information: the author, title, publisher city, publisher name, and the year the book was published. So let's say that I want to use this text feature, which happens to be a map of the Alamo, and I got that map from the book, What Was the Alamo? If I wanted to use this map, this is what my citation would look like. I have the authors, I have the title, I have the city and state, I also have the publisher name and the year it was published. If you do not have this information with you in your book, many books will be able to be found online. What if you want to cite your information from a website, which many of you have great information from websites? You must give the web address, or what's also referred to as the URL. And that's going to be found at the top of your internet browser. You can copy and paste right underneath your text feature. If you notice, I'm going to go back up to my notes. I have done the same here. These are my URL or web address where I used those text features. So you will be looking through your draft to figure out what important information that you need. You will be brainstorming text features. Once you gather some ideas, you will choose 2 to add to your draft. Once you have added those to your draft, you will be sure to cite your source.